three names that everybody's talking about at the top of the draft for wide receivers: CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. I feel like, for most people, Lamb and Jeudy are kind of 1 and 2, with Ruggs sort of like just behind. Do you have a particular order that you expect these guys to go off the board?
So I feel like Lamb's going to go off first. He'll be the first wide receiver drafted. And he certainly, I mean, if the Cardinals deal Kirk and suddenly they're in the market, and we know Kyler is really pressing to get CeeDee Lamb, he could go 8th overall, as high as 8th. I don't know that he'll fall past the Jets and the Raiders at 11 and 12. And certainly the 49ers would never pass on him at 13. But to me, he is the best chance for a team to grab a true number one. I mean, you look at his numbers in college, averaged over 21 yards per catch, had 14 touchdowns in his final season with the Sooners. He played with Baker Mayfield. He played with Murray, as we've mentioned. He's a big play, deep threat. He could take the top off of defense. I've seen tape on him, that game against UCLA where he made that ridiculous catch that is as good or better than anything that we've ever seen from Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
He is somebody's future number one wide receiver. And I mean, from a fantasy perspective, I'd love to see him go to Arizona and Kirk go to Dallas, selfishly. But if he goes to the Jets, he's going to be their number one. If he goes to the Raiders, he's going to be their number one. I wouldn't think that he'd be there for the 49ers at 13, though.
Who do you think has the most upside this year of these three guys?
So if I'm talking from a fantasy perspective, I'm going CeeDee Lamb because I think he has the potential to be a number one. Like Jerry Jeudy, I don't know that he's a number one. I think he's a 1A, a guy who played a lot out of slot in his time in the final season there with the Crimson Tide. I mean, he's effective after the catch. He's a threat to score anytime he touches the football. But I don't see people are going to compare him to Calvin Ridley before they compare him to Julio Jones, just to use Atlanta's wide receivers as an example. So I feel like he is a 1A in an offense where I feel like CeeDee Lamb could be a 1, the 1, and lead a team in targets for a long time into the foreseeable future.